baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got gritty. I'm a warrior.
Welcome to the Officer Autumn podcast, the only podcast designed specifically for female cops in mind. I hope you enjoy this podcast episode. If you love the music, go check out One Time Music. He's a fellow Leo. You can check him out in the show notes. And his full song, Baptized in Blue, is at the end of this episode. Your nerves and the job. So we're going to talk about getting nervous on the job and the implications that come along with that. Recently, we had a new police officer message me, and she talked to me about how she was so incredibly nervous that she kind of like lost a little bit of like what she was doing. She was going code and she got nervous and like kind of forgot, like lost her sense of direction. Normal. If you're brand new, it's normal. And so let's talk about this. When I first started, I'll never forget that I was with my FTO and I was conducting a traffic stop and I was so nervous. He had me on the road in front of my house. It was in front of my apartment. So I knew where I was, but I was so nervous that when I was over the radio going to call out my address as to my location, right, to where I was, I had no idea where I was. I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, Autumn, that's your apartment's right there. I'm like, I don't know the road. I don't know. And I was freaking out. And it's because I had so much going on. What you have to understand is being a police officer and people, this is the shit that people just don't talk about. There is so much going on. As you do this job, like, you know, after you've done it for like a year, it really becomes second nature. But like, there is just so much going on. You know, you're stopping a vehicle. Well, that all in itself, we have to look at hazards. We have to look at road hazards, people hazards, the vehicle, the people inside of the vehicle. We have to think about how you're positioning your vehicle. You're thinking about all of the things that are like around you, the people that are around the vehicle stop. Like there's a lot that's going on just with that. Then we have to think about, okay, we have to call out the plate on the radio. Then we have to call out our location. And then we have to exit the vehicle without getting hit. We have to decide, are we doing a driver's side approach or a passenger side approach? Up to the vehicle. And then when we get there, we have to figure out how the fuck we're going to talk to these people, because the truth is you've never done it or you haven't done it a lot. And, you know, people aren't nice. Like when you're getting stopped by a cop, you're either pissed off or scared, one or the other, right? And so it's 50% on what it's going to be. And you have to be prepared to be handling that they want to know immediately why you're pulling them over, and you need to know why you're pulling them over. And so before you even conduct this stop, you have to be very clear on what the violation is. So even before you open your mouth, there is so much going on. Activating your emergency lights in a vehicle it's a big deal. There's a lot of liability. There's a lot of things that go on with turning the blues on. So even just that alone enough to, you know, mess people up. So it's always good to know all of this. Does that make sense? It's good to know all of this as you're out there and you're training and you're in the field, and you know, I'm not making excuses. I'm just sharing with you why you probably feel the way that you feel, and why you may experience times where you are simply unable to, I don't know, like think clear. Does that make sense? There's times where you're going to feel like, what is going on? I don't even know right now. You're completely overwhelmed. You're stressed out. You've lost your sense of direction. That is normal. It's not normal for it to continuously happen. It is normal for the beginning. In the beginning, it is. And the more you lose it, you know, a lot of times you're going to have an old school FTO who's going to ride your ass. I think a little bit of that is good, just going to be honest. But if somebody's like literally really struggling, like let's try to help them first and then like meet them where they're at. And then, you know, we can be hard on them or whatever. That's my opinion. Obviously, if somebody is so stressed out, they're not learning as it is. So why are we going to jam them up the ass, if they're already fucking freaking out? So that's a little bit on that, but your nerves. Okay, let's get back to this. So that everything I talked about is basically like we are police officers, male and females, are going to face that same kind of anxiety. But then when you're a woman, it's even different, right? It's even more because we're women and we're already underestimated. We're already, oh Jesus, here we go. Got to fucking take care of her. Here's another one I've got to babysit, right? And that tends to be kind of the mindset about us. It just does. So what do we do about that? Well, first off, this is why I created the Become Street Ready Challenge. It's a 5-day training built for you to help with your confidence and your command presence. I highly, 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 highly suggest any woman who's listening to this, who's resonating with absolutely everything I'm saying, you should go take it. It's going to be the best $27 that you spend, and you can write it off, and it's fucking $27. And anyways, you need to build your command presence. You need to build your confidence, and you're not going to be able to be confident if you're scared out of your fucking mind. So if you've never taken a jujitsu, if you've never been punched in the face and you've never thrown an actual real punch, then you got to go do that. You've got to go learn how to fight. That's going to help you, because learning geography sucks. Straight up. I was the worst at it. I was the worst. I was the fucking worst. And they wouldn't let us have GPSs back then. Like, my phone barely came out. Wasn't able to be on my phone. Couldn't use GPS, nothing. I had to fucking figure it out. And you guys might be able to, I'm not sure. I mean, every agency is so different now, but that's just how it was for me. And so that was never my strong suit. What I did do is I did get to know the main routes. That way, and I would split them up in my head. And some of you might have them split up like Division 1, Division 2, or the east side, the west side, north side, south side, like whatever. Every agency has them like sections or whatever. Every agency splits it up completely different. And I would get to know the main routes in that area. That was helpful. But the biggest thing, I think, what I just want to say is it's normal to be fucking nervous. So how do we work through that? Well, we do have to do extra studying on our days off. I used to ride around my patrol on my days off. Yes, you're fucking right. I did, and I call the streets out, and just to know where I was going, and have somebody who I loved, a friend of mine, a family member, whatever, and have them there with me, and they would know the road because they'd have the GPS or their phone out or whatever, and they'd ask me what road we're on and stuff. And that helped me because I wasn't stressed out, because if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. It wasn't like I was going to have to get out and do 10 push-ups. You know what I mean? And that was very helpful. I think that's a big thing, for people to understand, is in this line of work, there's a lot of things we have to do on our off time, and it sucks. Straight up, it just sucks. You shouldn't have to, but we do. And I'm not advocating for it. I'm just telling you what I've done. I'm not saying I totally agree with it either. Just going to be honest. And so what can we do about this? Okay, so let's talk about ways to decrease your stress. You need to have a good workout routine, and it's not just lifting weights. Lifting weights is great. I'm a huge advocate. I lift. I love it. But you have got to get some HIIT in there, because high intensity interval training, get some cardio in there, because you've got to get your heart rate up, because you got to burn some fucking juice. You've got to burn these stress hormones. You got to do that. Okay. 5 days a week, you got to be working out 20 minutes a day minimum at, doing a HIIT workout or longer if you're going to lift. Working out is going to help you. You need to make sure that you're getting sleep. If you are not sleeping well, we need to address this. You can take melatonin. I take the Ollys, Olly, that brand. It seems to help a lot of people. I'll take one. You're supposed to take 2. I'll take 1. I used to take it when I was working overnights because I couldn't sleep during the day. that's helpful. But sleep is really, really, really important. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you are not in your right state of mind. And so therefore you're not going to be able to perform the way that you need to be performing. Let's see. Waking up every day. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little hack that I used to do and I did it my entire career. Didn't even realize I was doing it. I would watch, or I would have a tea, and it would be called like a stress tea, and so you can get it. It's like Yogi makes it, or like you can get that as a TZO brand or whatever. You can get any of that anywhere, but get like a calming tea or get like a stress tea, and I would drink it in briefing. And by the way, if you're interested, I have a Lady Sheepdog brand. I have those. I have cups, but what the fuck are they called? The ones that you like, they keep your stuff hot or they keep it cold. Man, I can't think, like a tumbler, but yeah, I guess it's like a tumbler. Anyways, I had one made up for the Lady Sheepdog brand. If you want one, it's by a police-owned company. They're like $21. But I'll put the link in the show notes. So if you want one, then have one because it'll keep your tea like really hot for hours. Anyways, I would have that to help calm me down. There's these things called Rescue Remedy. They come in a yellow tin. You can like suck on them like they're like lozenges. Or you can get the drops, whatever you want. And those really help. It's a flower essence and it just helps calm the nervous system. Having lavender, like maybe you put that on your wrist and you smell it. Maybe it's in your duty bag. I mean, however you want to wear lavender. Lavender is really relaxing. Things like this, doing what's called emotional freedom technique tapping. That isn't very important. In fact, you can scroll. If you scroll into my older podcast episodes, I have a podcast episode with Nick Ortner, the Tapping Solution. And he is like the founder of the Tapping Solution. He's like he's amazing. And he actually walks us through a tapping, meditation for cops. So go back and listen to that. And we're going to break it right down, talk all about how to do it. That's highly, highly, highly effective. Like that will help reduce your anxiety by like 50%. And let's see, what else? Going home at night and journaling. A lot of you, what's going on is you have so much in your mind that you are not able to rid it, and writing it down is highly effective. And acupuncture really saved my life. Really helped reduce the stress in my life. I was working overnights, fucking constipated, could not go to the bathroom. I'm so stressed out, couldn't fucking sleep. Just really not living my best life. I was working out every day, but I was not living my best life. And acupuncture saved me, and I highly recommend it to everybody, especially all cops. Like, we need it for the stress relief. It's a lot of what tapping does. It reduces pressure on like your energetic Chinese meridians or whatever. It's really good. Just look into it. They'll be able to explain it far better than me. Anyways, any woman who is feeling anxious, anxiety, whether you're new, whether you're not alone. I really hope that you can use this episode as a resource to help you. I think that every officer feels that way. Every officer starts out not that great, unless they've been in the military and they're like, yeah, this is a piece of cake. But I mean, if you don't have that background, it's normal. But don't stay there. You know what I mean? If you want to take that training, the 5-day Become Street Ready Challenge, the link will be below in the show notes. I hope you have a great day and stay safe.
They buried me in the water and I came, I knew. Now I'm baptized in blue. I'm a winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. They bury me in the water with a badge and gun and a heart that said never run. I signed up for a job you wouldn't dare to do. This ain't no green screen movie, don't compare the two. We look at your actions in the elements and everything relevant. If they line up, prepare to pay the consequence. You do dirt, you get cussed, no bluff. It's ignorant to think we will shoot with your hands up if you the police. You feel the world is against you, like every call you go to, people trying to tempt you. Well, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. I ride on the devil, I ain't scary, and I ain't worried. You want my life, come take it, it's gonna be a fight. I take you to the light, like Will and Bright. I wouldn't expect you to understand what I do, only the thin blue line, cause they baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit, I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit, I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I can't explain the pain when I see a name on the wall. All I feel is rage, put me in a cage, let me brawl. Sometimes I can't help but cry, like why did he die? I know it was him, but it could have been I. What about the kids? What about the spouse? Yeah, now who gon' put food inside them babies' mouth? It's a bigger picture when the officer down. Domino effect, Blue Nation, family, country, and town. The media don't cover us. Well, maybe Fox, cause MSNBC and CNN surely don't care about cops. Politicians more concerned about protecting the legal instead of laying the law down and protecting the people. Let me get off my soapbox before I curse. I don't seen way too many cops riding in hearse. Well, I wouldn't expect you to understand what I do, only the thin blue line, cause they baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit, I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit, I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. If I'm faced with a mission, I'm gonna complete it. If that means being deleted, I live with the credence. I do this for the combat vets and Leos. When I'm suited, ready to go, it's either friend or foe. Only Lord knows what my future's in store. I only kill with the hope to see more, so God don't close that door. If I take a life, it's him or me, with the hopes to survive, not bigotry. I go in situations that you cannot imagine, deal with things that you cannot fathom. No, it's buts or rather, I'd rather fight for a cause than live for nothing. So when you read my headstone, you know I died for something. You hypersensitive shit complain by justified force. You blame the cops first, that don't work, you blame the courts. But I wouldn't expect you to understand what I do, only the thin blue line, cause they baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit, I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit, I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue.